I sit alone in the zone, so gone. Just think about the scriptures, knowing I was living wrong. Praying that the Lord forgive me. In this walk I'm going strong. As far as age, yeah, I'm grown, but spiritually a newborn. Not trying to be lukewarm, so weekly we bring it out. Yeah, them trumpets gon' get blown. True colors gon' get shown. If you ain't keeping the Lord and the Father, you never known. I promise I'm going home, just hope it's the first flight. Nightmares are the 2/3, them visions that give you fright. But either way that it go, His will gon' get us right. I'm talking like Lazarus, how the dead can come back to life. And I know it ain't gon' be easy like learning riding a bike. It's more like a marathon and you climbing like on a hike. We suffer from all these curses, so every day is a fight. And when you ready to quit, His Spirit will give you life. It's not the end.
Go ahead. I'll ask you a question real quick. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem, Check Shai. Did you know that Netanyahu called the Palestinians Amalek?
Oh, you saw that?
Do you believe that?
No, it's definitely not accurate.
No, he didn't call them Amalek. He used that word Amalek. He used them, the example of Amalek,
And applied it to them.
and applied it to them. They're not
It's
Amalekites.
it's definitely not accurate to call the Palestinians Amalekites. One perfect example of why is the Shomronim. So we know some of the Shomronim actually do have ancient Israelite ancestry, and we know that
Who?
the Shomronim, so they are
What's that translate to?
Samaritans is what they're called in
Samaritans.
English.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But the Samaritans is like North Israel.
So the Samaritans are concentrated around the place where they are acclaim that Hashem told them to build a temple, which is Mount Gerizim, and that's
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, so that's near Nablus. So according to our
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
According to our tradition, they are actually a mix of Israelite and like
Who?
Iraqi and
The Palestinians?
No, the Samaritans.
Where are they now?
So they are concentrated around Nablus, and so many
Where's
of
that
the
at?
Palestinians. Yeah, so many of the Palestinians in that area, we
That's
know by their
interesting.
names that they're actually of Samaritan descent and therefore partially ancient Israelite and Jewish.
That's not in
descent.
Gaza, right? That's somewhere else. Because Palestine is pretty much right there.
Um,
Where in Palestine?
Gaza, no?
Nablus is in the West Bank.
Oh, the West Bank. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should be north. 'Cause
So many.
the Samaritans were north
Yeah, so
Israel.
we know many families in Nablus from their names that they're Samaritan. And
So they're what is their name?
but
What is
they
some
are,
of their
but they
names?
are practicing Islam. So they are.
So the Samaritan Israelites
they're,
practicing
they're
Islam.
treated as Arabs by the legal courts and the social media.
But what names do they have to have recognized?
I think they have different names that.
I know, but what name would you? I mean, cause we can research that for
You
ourselves.
can look it up.
Is this a last name or?
There's some variants you have to do some research to find what names exactly to look at.
Yeah, so I'm asking you because you're telling me this. I want to know.
Yeah,
This is news to me.
Yeah, so
Because I actually don't believe that, but I'll definitely inquire.
Yeah, I only know some of the Hebrew names. So basically, they'll be Arabized version of some of them are Hebrew names.
That's similar.
Well, because their language is similar to ours.
Yeah.
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 So
sometimes
you're saying
they might
there's
be
a sect of quote unquote Palestinians in the West Bank that are actually Samaritans, which are Israelites technically.
There are Palestinians who are of Samaritan descent, who we know are of Samaritan
But they wouldn't be
descent.
Palestinians though, they'd be Israelites if they're from Samaria.
No, they're Palestinians. They hold Palestinian papers. They have papers.
Nationally though,
Yeah.
but ethnically they're Israelites.
So it's a little complex, just because we don't know all of the Samaritan lines. So which of their lines
Of
are
course.
authentically Israelite and which ones?
But you know in the Bible, the Samaritans or the Samaritan land was given to other nations, right?
Yeah. So the northern continent.
Yeah, so are you telling me that the Samaritans have been there for 2,000, 3,000 years and they're still there?
So their temple on Mount Gerizim was destroyed. They also had a war with the Romans. And so they have been kind of scattered but concentrated around Israel just like us for, at least a couple thousand years now.
Not like in Mizrahi?
They're different. They have their text has textual differences from our text. So there's textual differences, and they're after the Chumash. There's even more differences.
So you're not going by lineage. You're just going by what they call themselves.
No, according to our tradition, some of their lineages are authentic according to what we know.
Okay, so what tribes were in Samaria?
So they're a mix of all of the Northern Kingdom tribes.
Okay, I mean, I agree because that's where, first of all, that's where Ephraim's from.
Yeah, but they're also, like, our tradition, we say that basically when they were taken out into exile, and also where there was different scatterings and mixings of people to change people's identities, get them to lose their identities, they brought in people from Iraq, the Babylonians, I think it was.
Of course, that's what I'm referring to.
And so basically there was, according to our tradition, intermarriage, so...
intermarriage, but they weren't there.
No,
the Samaritans were in Assyria when Babylon, or when the Assyrians put them in that land, right?
There was this, travel back and forth. So during
well, no, they were in slavery for a while, and then they went back before they got scattered, right?
So in this case, they were in slavery for a while, and they attempted to
until Babylon came.
Yeah, but not all of them were scattered. Some of them remained in the land.
So why Netanyahu used the
return?
He kind of like he said he used that as an example that they are Amalekites.
So basically, what happened was the Amalekites during the 20th century went to the Palestinians. And they basically tried to recruit the Palestinians as a part of their next plot. The same way the Amalekites went to Germany.
Recruit them in what fashion?
Recruit them to go against Israel, to hate Jews.
So the Amalekites recruited Palestinians?
Yes.
Who were the Amalekites?
Who are the Amalekites? The Amalekites are the Amalekites.
Who are they?
Who are their agents?
Who's the Amalekites that went there to
They're masters of disguise, so they have like layers of layers, onions. So it's really hard to identify them because they're always hiding.
So how do you know? You're
like,
telling me this story about Amalekites.
They always have at least.
What do they look like?
They always have at least like 4 shelves.
Sir, that's
so if you want to Easter egg kind of stuff. So if you want to start to try to track.
JR, is it RL? My bad. RL. I haven't seen you in a while. You have to be. We have to have some soundness to our information.
If you want to try to start tracking them down and pulling back the layers, and it's not going to be as easy as it might seem. Like you just point someone out. So if you want to start tracking them down and pulling back the layers, one of the things you can research is dual society. So basically, you have the Nazis. Everyone knows about the Nazis. They don't know who was behind the Nazis and who was behind.
Somebody was behind the Nazis in your belief?
No, it's not something that we have the record.
So what do you mean behind them? Like sponsored them or told them what to do?
Yeah, sponsored them, recruited them, trained them, raised them up to be haters, to hate Jews.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that they were raised? Hitler was raised into believing that? Because he was the leader.
Specific. Hitler is the group of people and the population.
But Hitler was the leader. He's the face of Nazis.
Yeah, but who's the real, power directing it? The person who sets that entire framework up so that there can be a Hitler?
I mean, you have to tell me because I just believe he took charge at one point.
Yeah, it's the Amalekites. They're hiding behind.
So you're saying Amalek sponsored Hitler in his campaign?
Yes.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
But why did they do it though? Why single out Jewish people? Because 20 million people died in Nazi Germany, right?
The Amalekites have been trying to kill us since.
No. They killed a lot of people in Nazi Germany, not just Jewish people.
Yeah, they're fine, with the collateral damage. Their goal is to wipe us out. That's their goal. Sir. Yeah.
We're kind of getting away from the point we were trying to make, but that's not a problem. Because we were talking about this earlier, actually, through the Spirit. We were just talking about Nazi Germany about an hour and a half ago. And we were bringing it out to the other brothers, kind of new to the information. But here's my question. You're trying to make all these points about Amalek and say they're disguised and they're in 4 different shells and all this other madness. Like, they have to be identified in some fashion. Because they're still walking the earth today, right? They're still a people, a nation, right?
Yeah, I don't know how, what their internal organization structure is like.
I'm not talking about the internal organization. I'm saying they're
Amalekites.
people. They're literal breathing people, I guess.
Yeah.
But we don't know what they look like. We don't know where they're at. They're working behind the shadows somewhere. Somehow they went to Palestine. When did they go to Palestine, by the way?
To recruit them.
yeah, I have to review some of the sources on this, but I think it primarily happened over the 30s. That's when it got like
1930s?
The 30s was when they really intensely tried to recruit the Palestinians.
I mean, but even if that's the case, we know for a fact what 1947, 1948, the Jewish people went back to Israel, and they started killing them. So I mean, what good did that do? What good did Amalek do recruiting the Palestinians to go against the Jewish people when they were already going to kill them anyway? Because we know that happened, right?
No. Basically, in theory, we could argue it would have played out differently had the Amalekites not.
What do you mean?
Because,
I'm telling you that when Jewish people went back to the land in 1948, they started slaughtering the Palestinians. Has nothing to do with Amalek.
Yeah, so that's not
Has
accurate.
nothing to do with Amalek. What's not accurate?
There's Jewish habitation in the land continuously.
Of course it was.
Yeah, so
there was a lot of people that were buying up land because after the Ottoman Empire fell, there was a lot of Arab, not landholders, because a lot of them were pretty much the land keepers for the Ottoman Empire, right? So when the Ottoman Empire fell, there was a lot of Jewish people that were buying up plots of land in Israel, which was Palestine at that time. Like, when was the very first kibbutz built?
I'm not sure the first kibbutz,
The very first kibbutz.
but that's a good question. When was the first kibbutz? It probably depends on how you define kibbutz, but yeah.
Settlement. Come on, it's a settlement. That's what
It
kibbutz
depends on how you
means.
define kibbutz, because
Right.
anything that's communal that people start as a settlement where they're growing stuff.
How did the very first kibbutz come about? People bought that land off Arabs, right? Because the landlord was no more. The Ottoman Empire was no more. Landlord had some workers, which were Arabs, right, working their land after the Ottoman Empire fell.
Yeah.
And we understand that a lot of Jewish people were buying up land plots, and they had enough land plots big enough to make their first kibbutz. Let's just say that for a fact, right? The very first kibbutz was built, right? The very first settlement. Then there was many more settlements that came about from buying land. This is way before 1948.
Are you saying just that conflict would have happened between Jews and Arabs in the land anyway? Is that what you're asking, or
When they finally made the move in 1948, yes.
Yes.
So
But
yeah,
you're trying to make it seem like
particular
Amalek.
question about
Yeah.
48.
You're trying to make it seem like Amalek was recruiting the Palestinians to go against them.
Yeah.
When that didn't even happen in general. It never happened.
No, it did happen.
When did it happen?
Primarily, I think that when it hit its peak was in the 30s, and after that, basically,
Well, what happened in the 30s?
what happened in the 30s?
Was there any violence in the 30s?
Yeah, there was a lot of violence in the
What
30s. There was a lot of conflict in the 30s.
What happened, sir?
There was conflict all over the world.
No, we're talking about within conflict within, say, these small
about
Jewish
Israel.
settlements, right?
So there was conflict over the first part of the 20th century. At various points.
Sir,
Yeah.
we're talking about the 30s and 40s.
There was conflict
Before the Jewish
in the
people went back to
30s and
the land.
But the Jewish people
you
were already
make-
in the land.
Well, they had a
And
presence.
that's my
They had a
point.
presence.
That's my
Yeah,
point.
but they were already the majority in Jerusalem and in the four holy
Sir.
cities.
What?
Yeah.
A majority?
I don't think
No,
so.
no. We can't do that.
I'm not sure the exact dates. When did they have?
What does a majority
Did
mean?
they have majority?
Majority where?
In Jerusalem.
How did they have a majority?
Yeah, I'll have to look at the dates because there were people who did different censuses. Like there were multiple people around the same time range who did censuses to choose the majority in Jerusalem.
No, but the point is that we understood that there was Jewish presence in Palestine. Just settlements here and there. And there was times.
Not just settlements, but it's like Jews lived in the four holy cities, and they're Jewish, Jewish holy sites in the land that Jews maintain and were responsible for.
Holy sites at that time?
They've been holy sites ever since Gan Eden.
What holy sites?
Hebron, the Kever Machpelah is probably is probably the biggest one after Har HaBayit, of course. So yeah.
Where's Rachel's tomb at?
Rachel's tomb is in the north.
Okay. And you guys consider that like a whole, like a sacred place too?
A lot of people consider the covers holy sites.
Okay. The point
The
is,
grave.
A lot of people do.
yeah, they actually
That's
go there.
fine,
They actually
but
go there and pray and stuff.
Rachel wasn't Jewish. Though,
Yeah,
so
she wasn't.
That's crazy.
No, Raphael was Hebrew.
She wasn't Jewish.
He was Hebrew.
Great. Amalekites are Hebrew.
Edom is Hebrew.
Yeah.
Like,
So what are you talking about? That isn't.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really a concept of Jewish yet because
That's my point.
Yehuda
Rachel
hadn't
isn't
been born
Jewish.
yet.
Rachel isn't Jewish. So
But,
if that's the case, what's wrong with?
but Rachel's one of the mothers of the Jewish.
she's a matriarch. You
That's
understand?
fine.
No,
That's a
but the
different
point is,
topic. That's different.
that's a whole different point. But the point is that there was settlements, there was presence of Jewish people in the land, right? Now, there was never no big conflicts, right, within the Palestinians or
That's
within
my
Jews.
point. Trying to make it sound like
We
there
see
was no
pictures.
conflict.
We understood that they actually lived in peace at times. Now there might have been clashes here and there or whatever, but I forget the Arab word.
Actually,
The Arab word
we
that they
used to
used.
refer to the Jews as the Palestinians. Like the newspaper Jerusalem Today used to be called Palestine Today. So back in the language before, I'm not sure when it really shifted. Maybe it was the 40s, maybe it was the 60s. But when people said the Palestinians, they were referring to the Palestinian Jews.
Do you know where to get that name from?
Palestinians comes from the Philistines, the Philistines,
Exactly. You know who renamed the land? That's
the Romans.
the Roman Emperor. Right. Just to spite the children of Israel, especially the Jews at that time. Jesus just renamed this whole province.
So that's
in
why.
spite. Right.
That's why the Amalekites convinced the Palestinians to use the name Palestinian instead of anything else they could have named.
They did.
I don't think they
Wait a
can-
minute. Are you saying the Romans or the Amalekites at that time?
No, I'm talking about fast forward to the 30s, 1930s.
Okay. So all they did was reiterate something that the Romans did, right?
No, it didn't have to be reiterated. It's not.
Well, that's
just
your
like.
Because when did Emperor Hadrian live?
Yeah, but it's not like in that particular thing. They're
You
taking
just told me
the
that
name.
the Romans named it that. So then you're telling me that Amalek told him to do it.
Yeah, but they could have chosen any name, right? Because especially if you're considering some of these Palestinians are actually even Israelite, so they didn't have to name themselves.
I'm not saying
You
that.
know.
You're telling me that Amalek, you're telling me that the Romans did it first, and then Amalek came back however long later and told him to name it that.
to
That's ridiculous.
take on that name.
Okay, so the last thing I'll say is that the historic lands of the Amalekites, and this is something you might want to know, actually is in the region of Gaza. And so, yeah, that's part
Gaza
of it.
has always been the Philistines.
Yeah,
Gaza has
the
always been the
Amalekites-
Philistines.
The Amalekites are also in that area.
Where was the land of Edom? Where was the land of Edom?
The Edomites are a little bit to the south and the west.
southeast.
Yeah.
Palestine is southwest.
So
the Amalekites are
so
on the same side as the other Edomites.
they're Edomites.
Oh, sir, Amalekites are Edomites.
They're a particular group. They're not just like the other.
So you mean to tell me they live separate from their own land?
Or they weren't the elite of the Edomites. Are you saying that?
It's not a matter of social status, but for whatever reason, they were in that part of the land historically. So I do think that there are Amalekites in the island.
Today?
Yes, and they were involved in the attack. They were involved on the Sikhatora attack.
You said Amalek?
Yeah. But that's not.
Who's
a
Amalek though?
basis.
Can you like elaborate? Because you're saying all these things. How do you know that? You're an insider, right?
Or can you just or can you just be like, damn, like this is our traditions, this is what we're taught. We'll accept that.
Because I think he knows.
We'll accept
I
that.
think he knows.
I think that he's just going off of what he's taught.
No, but he's trying to make it seem like we don't know who they are. That there's some shadow thing, like the shadow government, like Illuminati type stuff.
Well, that's how Amalek works.
I know. And we know who those people are. They're Jewish. So, I mean, whatever. Let me read this.
Read.
Numbers 13:29. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan.
What south?
we know they were spread out over a different range because when they were raid, like for example, they would raid in the desert in the Midbar in Sinai. So after the children of Israel sinned, and they were told they were not going to enter the land, they tried to enter anyway, and they were fought by the Amalekites in the Sinai desert.
Yeah, they fought the Amalekites in the desert. That's coming out of Egypt.
This is after the sin of the spies. So after the spies.
Oh,
sinned,
after.
And the people were told that they would not be allowed to enter the land. They were like, no, we're going to fight and we're going to enter the land. And they were routed by the Amalekites who come and attack them in the Sinai desert. So the Amalekites were.
That was before that.
But that was their
Now we
range.
didn't enter through the Sinai desert. We entered what from the east of Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The children of Israel entered from the east of Jordan.
Yeah, we crossed the Jordan, but when we were in the Sinai desert, the Amalekites would come and raid. They would come and attack the Bnei Israel.
I mean, I don't read that.
Yeah, we don't read that in the Torah. We don't read that anywhere.
You could look it up, find some sources for it, but one of the places you'll find it is when they do the censuses. When they do the census and you find people missing, a lot of times it's because they died in battle.
Sir, we're talking about the Exodus going into the Sinai desert, right? What census are you talking
after
about?
the Exodus. This is before.
I know. You need to tell me the Amalekites crossed over the River Jordan the same way we did?
No, the Amalekites would raid all the way like through the Sinai. So basically, after the splitting of the Red Sea, the Amalekites actually came and attacked.
They attacked us in the back. That's what the Torah says.
Yeah. So that was in the Sinai.
I know that information.
So they were in the Sinai, which goes up into.
But they did it when we were leaving Egypt,
Gaza.
not when we crossed Jordan. That's
Exactly.
what I'm telling you.
Yeah, this is 40 years before crossing the Jordan.
That's what I'm saying. You're trying to say they did it after we crossed Jordan.
No.
Okay, not a problem.
So, going back to our question, is Netanyahu justified not calling them Amalek, or just distinguishing, or using that as an example that we have to destroy Amalek, and applying it to the situation with the Palestinians today?
I think that one of the primary issues right now with the leadership in Israel and with Bibi's premiership, which will come to the fore, is that he actually hasn't specifically identified Amalek and brought the nation to fight Amalek. And in not doing so, he has not fulfilled his obligations as a Jewish leader. And in fact,
he Amalek?
No, he's Jewish. Yeah.
You got to be very careful on that one, huh?
And in fact, he had ample notice and ample warning, extensive,
Before they had attack,
yeah,
right?
He was warned repeatedly over and over and over and over.
He let it happen.
I'm seeing like a parallel over and over. Like these people are really ready to sacrifice their own to do their will, man.
You believe he allowed it to happen?
I'm not a mind reader, actually.
This is what's.
I'm not a mind reader.
This is.
But I'm
Come
just saying,
on, bro.
just information.
This is
because we know for a fact that's the most secure border in the world.
Not only that,
I
their
know for a fact-
intelligence agency
I know
is
for a fact
crazy.
he was
The
warned-
Mossad is crazy, bro.
He was warned over and over.
But what happened at the gate?
He was warned over.
What happened
and
at the
over.
gate?
Now, what happened at the gate? I don't know. I wasn't told.
You weren't told?
I didn't receive it.
So you mean to tell me Hamas penetrated Israel at the most secure border in the world?
Okay, number one, the Amalekites, historically, they're one of the only people who have been able to best the Bnei Israel in battle. And so, like I said before, I've actually faced the Amalekites. It might seem like it's just easy.
This is rhetoric.
Like it's fighting anyone else.
This is rhetoric.
That's my first comment. And then second,
So you are confirming that the Palestinians are Israelis?
no.
They're the only ones that bested Israel. Which is a lie. Which is
No,
We
a
beat
lie.
I
them
think
in the
there
Torah.
are-
Yeah.
We
There
bested
are-
them in the Torah.
There are
David kicked off 10,000 off a cliff. So what do you think?
there are Amalekites in the population in Gaza, I believe. And this
That's
is
your opinion. I don't believe that, but you know.
I don't believe that at all.
But that's not a justification.
I believe that they're
for-
all. So that's a
for-
justification of
it's
just
not a
using
justification.
Amalek. Oh, that's not.
It's not
That's
a
not.
justification.
Because
In
those are
fact-
Ishmaelites. You believe that
Some
those are
Ishmaelites.
Arabs?
They're not all Ishmaelites.
He's saying there's Samaritans
There's
over
some-
there. Or maybe
okay.
they're just,
In the
the
West
West Bank.
They're spread out. You know how people are.
I mean, they're the same people, technically, right? So there has to be some
You don't
lineages,
think they
traces.
were doing,
Well, I'm just saying in the West Bank and Gaza, there should be Samaritans in both.
But there's no Hamas in Gaza. There's no Hamas in Gaza. I mean, in West Bank. There's no Hamas in West Bank.
Yeah.
What's with the slaughtering
So
over
yeah, the
there?
presence of Amalekites in Gaza is in no way a justification for targeting the population, the entire population.
So who penetrated Israel? And where was the IDF?
Yeah,
where
so-
was the?
So number one,
Where was
as
everybody
I
at?
already stated
How come
this,
it took 8 hours for him to respond?
so I already stated this. Bibi was warned over and over and over again. Number one. Number two, the attack did come from Amalek. It was an Amalekite attack. But number three,
Hamas.
this is not a basis for targeting Palestinians as a population.
Well, that's not our question.
So I hope that
No, but you know what they use though? They use Deuteronomy 7. They run to Deuteronomy 7. This is what they use. They run to Deuteronomy 7 and we ought to kill man, child, women, everybody.
That's the Canaanites, though.
Exactly. Why do they run to Deuteronomy 7 and say we ought just to kill everybody?
Philistines Canaanites?
the police stone, no, they're different.
So what? Are you familiar with that? They use Deuteronomy 7. We're talking about the Canaanites.
They use Deuteronomy 7 as a rules of engagement for all wars. The Jewish population in Israel. They say that when they say Deuteronomy 7, I've seen so many videos of them saying this, man. Jewish people saying, they run to Deuteronomy 7, but you understand that Deuteronomy 7 is only talking about the 7 nations, the Canaanite
There's
nations,
a lot of
right?
videos on the internet. It's not just because
Well, we're talking
somebody
about the Torah.
somebody posted a video saying it's
So,
not a basis
so
for-
Jewish person talking, they don't speak for everybody, right?
it's not beyond,
rabbi, a
beyond
rabbi.
someone being mistaken or being.
So rabbis can be wrong, right?
Rabbis can be wrong?
Yes.
Who's the judge of that?
Reality. They're not
Reality.
right. They're wrong.
Just how they say they're Jews. So not a problem.
Yeah, man. We're just seeing a lot of wickedness over there, man. And if these people were the true children of Israel, that none of that would be happening.
That's right.
So I think there are a lot of factors at play. Just arguing that there are people of proselyte ancestry and that's why this is happening doesn't sound complete to me. And number one, we know that there are also people of non-proselyte ancestry mixed in thoroughly throughout the population, like the Kohanim, like huge chunks of the Jewish population in Israel is actually either Levitic or Kohanim.
I mean, they say that.
Where do we get this from? Like for example,
They changed their last
DNA
name to
company.
Cohen. They're Levites.
No.
I mean, that's what they say.
Kohanic-
You know, a woman
Kohanic
came up to
families-
us a while ago and said, "My last name is Cohen. I'm a Levite." I'm like, "What?" She has it on her ID. I'm looking at it. I'm like, "There's no way you're a Levite."
She would be a Bat Cohen, most likely.
What is that?
Daughter of Cohen.
Yes, Bat Cohen.
But I don't believe that though. You know why? Because she's a dope first and foremost. That's the first. That's the first thing. You're not living like a quote unquote Jewish person. You don't keep Torah. You're out here doing good.
People face a lot of challenges. Righteous people face challenges. I think
I'm not saying
it's
that.
not. It's
Like,
not
I don't believe white people are Jewish people. That's ridiculous. They're not Jews. If you're European, you're not a Jew. Facts.
Yeah, so we have ancient sources, some ancient sources about skin color, but it's not like a determinate thing. It's not like you can.
I'm not saying it's a determining thing. I'm just saying if a white person comes to me and tells me they're Jews, I'm at first ask them. Go ahead.
I mean, talking about
Marries a white convert, and their kids will be not Boxwood.
well,
If someone who's Boxwood marries an Ethiopian convert, then their kids will not be Boxwood.
so the majority, so that would change the majority of their colors.
Yeah. Because
Because let's look at it. Let's just look at it.
It just takes two converts in the population and a couple
it
generations.
just runs like wildfire.
If they're moving
Like the whole nation
farther-
would look like
Yeah.
that. Blonde hair, blue
It
eyes.
just spreads like wildfire. And this is the thing. When the quote-unquote Jewish people went back to the land, all of them came from Europe. Isn't that ironic?
That's
How come
not-
none of them
that's
came
not
from
accurate.
Africa?
There were Jews. There was an established community in the land before.
But were they
Ashkenazim
white?
came. Their skin color is different than their community because you have
Were
Jews.
they white, sir?
I know, I met a white presenting Mizrahi Jew today. I know
Spain.
white presenting
No,
Sephardim.
Mizrahi are the ones that stayed in.
In fact, their countries, there is a Scandinavian country. There's a Scandinavian country which banned Ashkenazim but did not ban Sephardim. So there's a lot of like strange things like that where it's like, well,
But
you
how
know,
come
how
all
did
of them
you
came
come
from
up
Europe
looking like
right when they got the land? How come they didn't come from anywhere else?
because of the Holocaust.
Sir, did you just tell me that the Samaritans were scattered? Were the Jews scattered to all nations?
Yeah, we.
How come only the European Jews got free to go back?
Because the European Jews, the Ashkenazim in Europe, took the initiative in organizing the Zionist movement, and they received support from some of the European powers to do it.
That's how they got back.
And so they leveraged
But
it.
how come they didn't invite all the Jews worldwide to go back?
Not by the hand of Hashem.
Yeah, so I think redemption is as we're pursuing it is a process.
Redemption?
Yeah, it's a
So
process.
that was redemption in 1948 or 1947.
We're working to
Sir,
push.
no. That's redemption. You call that redemption when it went back to the land. Is that what you're telling me?
To push Hashem's hand
Sir,
on redemption.
You can't push Hashem's hand nowhere.
We will beg as hard as we can.
You can't help Hashem do nothing.
We will beg as hard as we can.
No,
we're not called. Our
no.
name is Yisrael, Yisrael. We strive with
Those
God.
white people are not Israel.
We wrestle with Hashem.
And this is the point we're making.
We are trying to push Hashem to redeem us.
This is the point we're making. Those European Jews were the only ones to go back to Israel because they're the only ones that claim to be Jews, and they're not really Jews.
That's not true. So as a part of this process, what was also happening and what a lot of Americans have censored from their education is that what was going on in Europe also was directly connected to what was going on in Ethiopia. So basically a part of this global conflict that most
I'm talking about World War II?
Yeah, that most Americans aren't taught is that a big theater of the war was Ethiopia, and
The big what?
A big theater of the war was Ethiopia.
In what fashion?
Because you had the Ethiopian kingdom against the Axis powers, against the Italians. The Italians invaded Ethiopia.
Of course.
So Haile Selassie went to Jerusalem because he is Ben David.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. We literally just talked to Ethiopian last week and said he's come from Bangladesh.
He's a child of
No, he's not.
According to my sources, he comes from.
No, you don't have any sources on that. You do not have sources on Haile Selassie being Solomon's son. That's ridiculous. Show me the sources.
My sources are person. I have a source.
Where are they?
So according to my sources, he does come from a legitimate.
No, he doesn't.
That lady literally said, "What tribe was she, bro?"
She said she was Axumite. She was Axumite.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
she was
it's-
Axumite.
It's totally okay if you have other sources that say that he is not.
The Ethiopian just came into us last week and said he comes from Bangladesh.
He's from Bangladesh.
He's not
he's
even from Ethiopia.
in the Oromo tribe.
That's fine.
I'm not
saying that
So
is-
who's
adopted
listened to?
him.
A person that's from Ethiopia or you?
I'm quite comfortable with my sources. You don't have to.
I'm supposed to listen to you or someone that comes from Ethiopia where Haile Selassie's from? Supposedly. Okay, so where are your sources?
She bad.
Name a source.
She bad talked him. She was like, "Yeah, he's the reason why."
You don't reveal.
Like any good journalist, why would
No,
I?
you're not a journalist. You're an Israelite. Like I'm an Israelite. You're not supposed to lie to me or deal falsely with me.
Yeah,
I can always remind you
I
of that.
told you straight up,
Every
I'm
time-
not revealing my sources. So,
Because you don't have any sources. Okay, and it's nonsense.
Um,
Haile Selassie is not from no goddamn King David. That's ridiculous. So that means his father's from David, right? Right? Haile Selassie's father. His grandfather.
They're from a Davidic lineage.
Where is that at?
What do you mean, where is that?
Where is his line at? And why is he in Ethiopia? Why is he living in Israel?
Because Shlomo sends his family, some of his descendants to Egypt.
So you believe that hotel that Sheba, he had a child with Sheba, and that's where Menelik comes, and
Yeah, so
Menelik
in
the
tradition,
second.
there's always, always so many facets. So we do have some different facets of this tradition. According to some, it wasn't a queen, it was a king that came to visit.
Oh yeah, he did say that. He said it wasn't even a woman.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
he said that?
Yeah, so we have different.
Wait a minute. So who
traditions.
did King Solomon have sex with? Are you saying one of King Solomon's sons went to Ethiopia and birthed the line?
Menelik's line.
That's ridiculous. Because you know who reigned over Israel after Solomon? His actual son.
He
Real,
had a lot
right?
of sons. He had a lot of
Real.
sons.
So wait a minute.
He had a lot of wives and a lot of sons. A lot.
So you know David had a lot of sons too, right? Which one became king?
Shlomo.
How come the other ones didn't?
Because David promised Bathsheba that.
So that means if you're not Solomon's son that's chosen, you can't be a king, right?
And how to
no,
go
you
through
can still,
Shlomo.
you can still be a king, but
King
you're
where?
not. You can just be a king. You can,
King where?
there are many places to
Sir,
be king.
sir, that's
Oh,
crazy.
so it had
That's
to be
crazy.
it meant a king from another kingdom, not the kingdom of Israel.
They shouldn't put themselves up over Israel.
No.
But that's what I'm
Other
saying,
nations
though.
should be king over us. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 17:15 says that we can't not to put a stranger above us as king. But you're saying, on the other hand, that they can become king anywhere else upon the earth.
That's ridiculous. What? So a king of Israel can rule any nation, right?
There are many of the kings all over the world that are like the same.
I'd have to get some sources on that.
I'd
I'd love to see what that said. History.
Well, you know, Shlomo has 700 wives.
He had a harem.
Great. Did he have babies by all of them?
I think by many of them, yes, and then a lot of them were royal marriages. So he was
Well, I
consorting,
believe he had a lot of wives, but
form alliances. And so
that's not how, bro. That's not in our history though. How a king of Israel can have 100 babies, and all of them just go elsewhere and just rule. Like,
This should be
first
the
of
king.
all,
The Tanakh should be.
that's what I'm saying. Like, first of all, why would that other nation just accept him as their ruler? How does that work?
No, I think you're not. So basically, like the royal families, and this isn't just particular to that region and that time period, but royal families, they will form these alliances and potentially produce sons with different other dynasties.
I'm telling you that you're saying Solomon sent his kids to Ethiopia.
Yeah, there's a tradition that
That's not
Is this complete and full?
it's
Is the Tanakh complete and
it's not
full?
explicit in the text.
exactly.
Why? Why isn't it that in the Tanakh? Because this is our complete.
Yeah, so
Our
one of
complete
the things that we're always emphasized to us, the Torah and the Tanakh they're not history books. They're not meant to convey.
They're not history books?
No, they're books of Nebuah, and so that's why they're not.
Excuse me?
They're not in chronological order.
So how do you know he had 700 wives? That's not the book.
It's a well-known tradition.
No,
about
it's not
Solomon.
Nebuah, sir.
You're saying it's not Nebuah that he has
It's not
700 wives?
Nebuah. That's just writings, right?
Um,
It's
In
just
the writings.
Yeah, so we do categorize things differently. So it's like there's different levels.
So 700 wives is literal, right? Or 1,000 wives, 700, 300 concubines, right?
No, I'm
that
not
literal?
gonna pretend I'm experienced enough to know.
Sir, you just told me that Solomon sent his seed.
If 700
You just told me
wives
Solomon
is
sent his
literal,
seed
I
to
don't know-
Ethiopia.
I don't know if
But
it's
then
prac-
you're
I don't-
telling me it's only Nebuah in the Tanakh.
I don't know if it's
That's not Nebuah.
I don't know if it's practical.
Sir, you're telling me something that's not Nebuah, right or wrong?
What's your?
Solomon sent his sons to Ethiopia to intermingle, and we ruled all these different lands. We had royal families that mingled with other nations and became kings.
Yeah,
Sir,
so-
that's
so
not in the Tanakh.
There's a good amount of stuff that we have about Ben Dan, who is called Shimshon, Samson in English.
Of course, Samson. Yeah, I know
And
who
so
that is.
some of the different royals across the world and that region are descendants of Shimshon.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. So Samson had sons, and he had people that he are. First of all, it doesn't even say he had kids in the Bible, so
So
that's
the Spartan-
ridiculous.
It's called Spartans. There's a tradition
17.
that the,
Well, that's we already passed that. We already
there's a
passed that.
tradition that the Spartan royal family is actually descended.
Yes.
The Lacedaemonians? The Lacedaemonians are our people, yeah.
But yeah, but then there's a variant lineage that says they're descended from
Okay,
another
you're running from my point. Solomon going to sending his sons to Ethiopia, or any other Israelite rulership going to other nations and ruling, that's not in the Tanakh, right?
No, we have many traditions about Israelites.
I just want a yes or no. That's not in the Tanakh.
Ruling
What you're
over
telling
other
me. What you're
peoples.
telling me is not in the Tanakh, right?
No,
What
we
you're telling me
have-
isn't in the Tanakh.
No, there's lots of stuff in the text about
Sir.
Which
Israelites.
text? Which?
A lot of this is going to be after, like in Malachim and Kings. So yeah.
Okay,
No.
let's go there.
So where does Solomon send his sons to Ethiopia in Kingdom?
That's not written in the text.
And that's my point.
That doesn't.
You're telling me that this isn't a history book, but you're telling me it's only prophecy, right?
There's nothing mentioned about Abraham being born. Was Abraham born? He was born.
Of
It's
course.
not in the text though. But it
Okay,
happened.
great. But you're telling me something that we know for a fact because we come from Abraham. But you're telling me that's something that's not in the Tanakh, but then you're telling me that
There's lots
Tanakh's
of
not
stuff-
history at
there's
the same
lots of
time.
stuff just like we know.
Sir, you're
there's
telling me
other-
something that you're claiming something's history, but then you're telling me that Tanakh's not history.
The Tanakh is not a history book. It's not.
Is
Like,
there history in the Tanakh?
we can learn history from it, but it's not a history book.
So where does this history come from that you're talking about?
We have many sources for different
Where?
traditions.
Where can I read this?
There's no
Do I
shortage.
gotta go to the synagogue and get it, or what? Where do I get this
There's
from?
a lot of stuff online. There's tons of stuff
Online.
online. Yeah.
Okay, so reveal one of your sources to me. As a brother, can you tell me one of your
You
sources?
said Abraham,
About-
the
about-
brother Abraham is not in the Tanakh?
About what? About what?
What you just told me. Solomon went to Ethiopia.
Um,
Read that.
This is Bereshit 11 and 26.
Yeah. So
And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram and Nachor and Haran.